Okay, so in the previous videos, I really picked certain topics and I focused on them. However, I really wanted to get a few minutes video with an overall demo of the whole platform, because one of the powers of Verkada is that they don't just deliver CCTV or access control or alarms, is that they actually get all these products that help you secure and manage your building, and they provide it under a same platform called Command. So if you actually haven't seen Verkada before, I think this is a great video because at least it's going to give you an idea about what the technology is capable of. However, assuming you haven't heard about Verkada before, it's good to mention a few important things. First of all, the technology is what's called a hybrid cloud one, meaning that as opposed to a traditional on-premise system that relies on NVRs, storage, databases, etc., there's nothing except the camera, the access controller that connects to your door components, the alarm sensors, and the wireless hub, or the air quality sensor for that matter. There's nothing else. You can have one, you can have 1,000, you can have 1 or 1,000 sites. Everything works and feels the same. Secondly, the reason that we call it hybrid cloud is that although we do use the cloud in order to allow you to manage and troubleshoot your estate no matter where you are, at home, in transit, or at work, the devices are smart enough to do most of the operations on themselves. So the access controllers have their own database locally, the cameras record and do most of the analytics on themselves. And this is very important because although we really love the internet as it gives us this scalability and the plug and play, we also do want to make sure that your system is operational in case of an internet outage. And so with that in mind, let me jump onto Command. This is again the web platform that you will use to manage your entire Verkada infrastructure and show you a few of the cool things that you can do. Welcome to our demo environment. So these are the devices that actually keep all of the Verkada offices safe around the world. As you see here, I can zoom out of this Google map and you'll actually see our worldwide presence across the US, United Kingdom, and Australia. Let's take an example. Let's say we have a visitor coming in. I can jump into the intercom tab. So now switching from cameras, which is the default one, to the intercom. I can click on the one that's next to the railroad, and automatically I'm connected to the camera embedded in the intercom system itself. So as opposed to other intercoms, you don't actually get a poor, let's say 2-3 megapixel camera. You get a full-blown 5 megapixel wide angle one. And behind the scenes, the cloud is busy brokering the connectivity between my device here in London and the camera, which is in San Mateo, California. Without any VPNs, without any remote desktops or bespoke apps. This is a browser working on a laptop that could as well be a tablet or a mobile phone. Nothing much going on as it's 5 a.m. However, I can look back inside in the events. I can see everybody that came in. I can see, for example, the delivery driver. I can hear what was said. I know exactly who unlocked. And from this angle, I also can get a clear view of their face. So at any given point, if there's any issues with the guest, I can simply click on their face, and this actually runs a search across all my cameras, no matter how many I have, that show me exactly where that person has been. Even better, in case I need to get notified next time, let's say this might be a previous offender you know about, or on the other hand, it might be a VIP and you want to get notified in case they are spotted. All you need to do is mark them as a person of interest, give them a name. Again, the system doesn't know who they are, add some tags, and just subscribe to the alerts. So next time they come in, you get an email, you get an SMS, you even get an API notification that you can push to third-party systems. I did mention that the intercom is a full-blown camera. The camera does record on itself, so although we are a cloud-based system, by default the storage is still local. It's just distributed between the cameras, and in this case it's in this camera in the intercom. And from this I can easily archive a clip. So this takes the clip, can be a second long, can be 24 hours, doesn't matter, and takes it from the camera and then puts it in the cloud. We're using Amazon S3 buckets. Thus the file will actually inherit the security and the redundancy that that service provides. And this means that at any given point, if somebody asks for that particular footage, all I need to do is find the archive by searching the name or the tags and share it either by downloading as an MP4 file and putting it on a USB drive, which, to be honest, as you can imagine, takes a lot of time and it's not really secure because things can actually get lost in transit. Or even better, share it with a link. So this is where I'd ask somebody for their phone number, for their email, and then Verkada on my behalf will generate a secure link that you can revoke at any time. So you have a full log of who's sharing archives, who's sharing live links, and you can do something about it in case something has happened erroneously. So let's say the guest came in. We know exactly who opened the door up. Most likely what they've done next is sign up. So on the check-in desk, we have a nice tablet that allows the people to specify why they're on premise, sign the documents that we require them. There might be NDAs, there might be questions asking them about the registration number of their car, or maybe informing them on things such as the Wi-Fi password for the guest SSID. We can actually do that through our guest platform. The wonderful part about this is that not actually using pen and paper or some of these antiquated methods allow us to go back in time in any of the given days and know all the guests, why they were here, who they were here to see, when did they come in, when did they come out, use the face that they took when they checked in, so that will be the tablet itself that will take a picture, and do the face matching algorithm to know exactly where they have been, and download all the documents that they have signed, whatever, again, there are NDAs, questionnaires, you name it. You can upload your documents, insert your valuables, and you have them there for the record. So going back to the flow, the guest comes in, puts all their details in, a badge is printed, it's color coded to let people in the building know who that person is. Are they here for an interview? Are they a contractor? Are they doing a delivery, etc.? It doesn't really matter. And if I go inside the branding button here, you'll actually see how things look like. So you'll be able to get a preview. You'll see the QR code, so in case people don't want to use the tablet, they can actually use their phones. You'll be able to color code, drop your logos, etc. And you can even have variety between sites. So if you actually need to have different sites looking differently, you'll be able to customize them one by one. But what happens with regular employees? They don't have to go through this process, right? I mean, they might have cards, they might have fobs, or even better, they might actually use their mobile phone, because as you might or might not know, people tend not to forget their phone at home and most likely take care of it at least slightly better than access cards. So for us, we give the employees all this flexibility to either use their phone or the cards that we give them. And at any given point, one can hop between multiple sites, as in physical locations, click on any of these doors and review the activity that actually has happened. So you see here, you'll get all events, you'll be able to filter, let's say maybe access rejected, or even better, tailgating, and the system will actually flag up every time this has happened. All you need to do is click on it. We provide the footage from that time. So these are 1 or 2 cameras that are tied in logically to that door, and you'll be able to create your archive or take screenshots as per the Intercom example. And at any given point, if you want to stop somebody from doing this, or maybe you have realized somebody took someone else's card and is making their way through the property, you'll be able to click on the profile, see exactly where they have been through the building. So this is looking at a particular person as opposed to a particular door. And then within the profile, click suspend access. So the master database in the cloud updates, gets pushed on the individual controllers, because again, if there's an internet outage, they will still be able to operate based on your instructions and stop, in this case, the person from using their credentials. And you can operate the system easily by just pressing the button here, and this will automatically open doors. Or on the other hand, if you're in an emergency situation, you can trigger lockdowns with one click, either from command or the app itself, or you can have it as an output from the alarms system. But before I show you alarms, I also wanted to briefly describe the air quality sensors, because now we have guests, we have employees coming back to the office after a few years of remote working. We need to make sure that the air quality is good enough. And how do we measure air quality? Well, simply by having an idea of the carbon dioxide. And this is a great metric that you can keep an eye on. You can subscribe to alerts. You can set triggers at different points. You can even programmatically use webhooks and even connect the sensors to your building management system. So if you are concerned about the ventilation, if you want to make sure that all the rooms have adequate air quality, you now know carbon dioxide, total volatile organic compounds, particulate matter, and an overall air quality index. But as you see here, the sensor is a versatile tool. It's very much like a Swiss Army knife. So although you might be interested in air quality and CO2 metrics for your conferences rooms, maybe for rooms where you have perishable goods or for comms rooms, you might be interested in things such as temperature and humidity, because any leaks, any issues with the aircon might actually damage expensive goods. You can use the noise levels or even the PIR sensor to know if there's any movement in a particular space without using cameras. That might be a privacy issue. And you can use the vape index to know if people are vaping. Something that is going on obviously in schools these days, a very big topic, and you can put one or multiple of these sensors in the bathrooms or in the changing areas, have a camera on the outside that's tied again logically to it, and at any given point you'll be able to know who was in that particular area when the vape alarm got triggered. And this brings me nicely to alarms. And the reason I really like our alarms portfolio is that, okay, you have alarms as separate wired panel, wireless sensors, etc., but you are able to actually use your other Verkada devices as triggers. So at any given point, you will be able to utilize not only things such as glass break, motion sensor, door contacts, panic buttons, etc., but also things such as cameras, their people detection ability, any sensor readings, or any access control events such as door open, door held open, or door forced open. What you need to do is you define your triggers, make sure you have a correct address, because we will be able to dispatch the police in most of the big regions that we serve. And once that happens, you create a workflow to tell us how you want us to handle this. One, do you want us to video verify to make sure that the threat is real? And again, this is very important because in most jurisdictions, there are consequences when repeatedly calling the police when there's actually no emergency. Secondly, if the alarm is deemed valid, would you like us to contact you? Who are these people that you want to contact? Would you want us to call the police in case they do not answer, and so on? And obviously, as a deterrence, you do also have alarm actions. You can have strobes, you can have a speaker actively talking down other people on the property in order to make them stop and leave. Now, this has been a very, very quick demo. If you find it interesting, I'm going to drop you a few links through the video so you can get a better understanding of some of the products and features that I have described. But your key takeaway from here should be that, one, Verkada is a modern physical security and building management company that is able to provide things such as CCTV, access control, alarms, environmental sensors, intercoms, guest and mailroom management, all under a single console that's called Command. It is web-based, it does not require any applications or any sort of VPN connectivity. It works from whenever you are, as long as you have the right credentials. And secondly, Verkada builds everything. They build the hardware, they build the software, and that actually makes everything very, very easy to implement and troubleshoot as well. We have a support team that's available 24/7 who is able to help you out in case things don't work. And worst case scenario, in case they cannot troubleshoot it at hardware failure, they will be able to send you a replacement, because most of our products do come with a 10-year hardware warranty. If you're interested to learn more, drop me a message or get in contact with us.